question, what does it really mean to be successful? And are the methods that we've all been taught to achieve success actually holding us back? Well, our next guest is challenging traditional ideas about career and success, drawing on more than a decade spent leading in a male-dominated industry. She's opening up about the messy parts of her story and what she'd tell anyone who feels successful on paper but isn't sure it's maybe the life they want. Joining us now, that author, you might recognize her, Toni. She's the general manager of the Kalamazoo Wings and author of Rebellious Success. Hi, Toni.
Hi, Todd.
Oh, welcome back.
Oh,
so
pleasure.
So thrilled for you.
Thank you.
How long have you been working on this book?
2 years.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
And here it is.
It is. It is a big week.
Okay, so talk about what, first off, the reason why you decided to do this. Why did you think in yourself, I've got something I can tell people about success?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I've always had a book in me.
Okay.
And I was trying to figure out what exactly I wanted to write a book about. And so I was starting to formulate this plan. It was like, what do I get asked a lot about? And it starts, of course, with professional hockey. Being a woman in a male-dominated industry, how did I do it?
Right.
And so that came my 6 leadership pillars, which then I did a TEDx, and from the TEDx then launched, I think we can shape this into a book around failure, success, strengths, weaknesses, and how these things are perceived in our culture.
I love the fact that you include all of it. Because a lot of times success books or books to help people achieve success are all about, here's what you do to get the good. But it doesn't ever really talk about the things that are bad, the things that are the messy parts of it.
Yes, and I open with messy in the story. I shoot the reader out of the cannon and tell stories about my life that don't paint me in the greatest picture, but it's the reality of the experiences I've been through, and then how I worked to change and become the person I wanted to be. And so I don't only tell my story, though. I'm telling ways through behavior change and research that someone can say, oh, Toni did this, I can do this too, and here's how. I didn't want it just to be a story about me. I don't think that's very interesting.
Well, I beg to differ. You've led an interesting life, Toni. But it's true, though. It's nice to have something where it's like, not only is it telling you what may be the issue, but giving you steps to actually do something about it. What does the term rebelliously successful mean? Where'd you land on that?
So I have always thought of myself as unique, and I've always been someone that kind of felt like a black sheep, if you will.
Okay.
And it's my own inner dialogue, inner thoughts.
Sure.
It's nothing anyone ever really said to me, but I've always had this like rebellious spirit about me, and I used to view that as a weakness, and really it's a strength because I'm willing to go against the majority and look at things a little bit differently and think differently. It makes me more curious, and so the rebellious part is looking at that as a strength and saying, just because I don't necessarily color inside the lines, it can still be something to view as a positive, especially in our world today when it's so divisive.
Absolutely. Some people call that a superpower.
Yes.
Right? You know, it can be so like, what about, we talked about people feeling successful on paper or looking at it on paper, but then not really feeling like that's their life. Like the two, there's a disconnect there.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about some advice for those things, the traditional success leadership role and what you found is a little bit different when it comes to that?
Yeah, so this is the main crux of the book, which is success is what we define it. It doesn't have to be what our culture defines it. And our culture could be our home, our community, the U.S. as a whole. It's not just, it's like how we define it. And it's not linear. So one of the stories I talk about is my relationship with alcohol. I didn't like my relationship with alcohol, but culturally it's so stigmatized. So how can I choose to look at this in a way of living in alignment? Because on paper at that point in my life when I was still drinking, I looked very successful, but I didn't feel aligned because I was going against my core values. And so as soon as I worked on removing that part of my life and doing it out loud, that was because I drank out loud, so I figured it'll help me to quit out loud. And as soon as I started to do that, I felt way more in alignment. I had way more clarity. And I gave myself about 800 hours back a year.
Wow.
So I could write this book.
Well, you put the time to good use, Toni.
Yeah, I did.
Good for you. Well, let's say you said 6 pillars. Of course, we don't have time in this interview to go through all of that. But if there was, let's say there's one takeaway, if there's one thing that somebody could do differently that is successful on paper, but maybe questioning their path right now, maybe a takeaway, a little quick tip.
Yeah, so leadership pillar number one is go to the experts. And I did that in every aspect of my career journey and my personal journey. It is, I don't know what I'm doing. None of us know what we're doing when we're doing anything. So find someone else who's done it before you and go ask questions. And that will take you down a path, and you'll do things that you know you never thought you could have done.
Well, this is amazing for you. I'm so excited for the book is out now.
It's out now.
Literally just came out.
Just came out. It's fresh.
I'm assuming we can find this everywhere.
Everywhere, anywhere books are sold, and of course, I always encourage to buy local too.
Yeah.
So
get to your local bookstore, check it out. It's called Rebellious Success, and you should be reading this, right? Toni was wanting you to succeed, and she can help. September 4th, by the way, Spirit Kalamazoo. What's happening here?
That's the big book launch.
This is your launch. Are you going to be signing?
I am.
Oh,
I'm going to be signing, and we're going to really, and it's Art Hop in Kalamazoo that Friday. So we've combined that all in, and this is a love story to Kalamazoo as well, where I've been born and raised. So the Spirit of Kalamazoo is the place to do it.
All right, you hear that, KZ? You have to buy it if you live there. Hey, get on out and see Toni. Ask her about the book. Pick it up today if you want. Rebellious Success is waiting for you. And of course, from 5 to 8 at Spirit Kalamazoo, you can go meet her and have her sign your copy. We'll be right back.